I'm Earl Stewart. I welcome you to Earl Stewart on Cars, a live talk show all about how to buy, lease, maintain, or repair your car without being ripped off by a car dealer. With me in the studio is Nancy Stewart, my wife, co-host, and a strong consumer advocate, especially for our female listeners. We also have Rick Kearney, an expert on how to keep your car running right. I dare you to ask a question that Rick can't answer about the mechanics or electronics of your car. Also with us is my son, Stu Stewart, our link to cyberspace through Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Periscope. Stu is also the Spymaster Director of our Mystery Shopping Report. He dispatches our secret shopper weekly to an unsuspecting South Florida dealership. And now, on with the show. Well, good morning, everybody. I really appreciate you tuning us in, and this very historic, in a negative way, time of our lives. And welcome to all the new folks out there that haven't heard Earl Stewart on Cars before. You'll see me moving my mask up and down if you're streaming us on video. And it's a difficult thing for us to get used to. We have our masks in the studio, and I will be wearing it as much as I can. It's a show for you new folks all about how not to be ripped off, taken advantage of by a car dealer. And during this corona crisis, this coronavirus crisis we're going through, we're seeing some very, very mean-spirited and deceptive advertising. You wonder who's buying cars out there. Actually, there are still people buying cars. Car sales are off 40 to 50% from what they normally are, but there's still a lot of people out there buying cars. People need their cars. In Florida, for example, this show is being broadcast from Florida, and without a car in Florida, if you have a job, you have to go to school, to the doctor, the pharmacy, you're pretty much out of luck. And even Uber and Lyft are not an option viable today because of the threat. There are a lot of unemployed Uber and Lyft drivers, unfortunately, during this corona crisis thing. So when you have to go out and either have your car fixed or buy a new or used car, you have to be especially careful during this period of time. And our mystery shopping report today, and we'll get to that towards the end of the show, is a particularly egregious act by a car dealer in South Florida who is trying to trick you into believing that you can have some benefits, some incentives to buy that you can't get. And it's something you always have to be careful about buying, leasing, maintaining, or repairing your car, but it's especially scary right now to buy a car. We'll talk about things you can do to perfect the purchase. There are ways, even today, that you'll be able to buy a car and absolutely be guaranteed that you're not going to have a problem. If you listen carefully, take some notes, or even go to our website or our blog site, which is earloncars.com. We have a lot of information there too. We rely on your calls, and I know you have calls out there, and you have texts for those who prefer not to call in. We prioritize our calls because we love to have the phone calls. And in just a minute, I'll introduce Nancy Stewart, my co-host, and she will tell you about a very, very special offer for our first time female callers. We're trying to build an audience of ladies to call. We're almost at 50-50, and we want to be at least at 50-50. And the incentive that Nancy will describe in a couple of minutes to you, I think will really motivate some of you ladies that haven't called the show before. Our call-in number is 877-960-9960. Now I ask you to please take a second to write this down. Make a note of it. The show will be on for 2 hours. We're on until 10 a.m. this morning. That's Eastern time. And for those 2 hours, I don't know how much you'll be listening, maybe 10, 15 minutes, maybe the whole show. But if you don't have a question now, you will. So if you write this number down, 877-960-9960, 877-960-9960. Write it down. Because something will come up. Somebody will say something. Rick or Stu, my son. Rick is a certified master diagnostic technician, knows everything there is to know about cars. Stu is our spy master. He's in charge of our mystery shopping operation. And if you have a question for Stu, Rick, or Nancy, or me, 877-960-9960. And the text number, this is for the folks that, well, you're not, maybe you just want to get the question answered, but you're not in a hurry. We try to get them to them pretty quickly, but if we don't, we will by the end of the show. Text number is 772-497-6530. That's 772-497-6530. And we build a backlog of text, actually, so every now and then I look up at Stu or I look over at Rick, and he's our YouTube monitor. So we're on, youtube.com/Earl on Cars, youtube.com/Earl on Cars. We're on Facebook, facebook.com/Earl on Cars. And so we got a lot of ways we're out there. We're even on Twitter. So it's almost impossible not to find us somewhere in cyberspace. Again, that text number is 772-497-6530, 772-497-6530. Now, let me introduce Nancy Stewart. Most of you know Nancy very well. She's been with me for 17 plus years. We started the show together, doing a half an hour show, just the two of us, and we expanded it to an hour. And now here we are at 2 hours, and we got Stu, and we got Rick, and we got a nice gang here in the studio. Nancy, I know that the audience would love to hear, if there were ladies and they haven't called the show before, what are we going to incentivize them with?
Excuse me. I can't go without mentioning Jonathan. An interesting story that goes with him is that he was once a caller many years ago, and he invented the word shenanigans every time he listened to our show. And he is definitely a great asset, as the rest of the crew here. We wouldn't be able to do the show without them. I'm hoping that we can all spread some positive energy to all of you, not only to inform you, but to entertain you. And we sure have a whole lot to get to. Ladies first, we have $50 for the first 2 new lady callers this morning. I know you can use that. $50 for the first 2 lady callers. Give us a call at 877-960-9960. And, I can't go without mentioning Earl's latest column. Boy, I'll tell you what, it does fit the moment, the occasion, and the pandemic that we're going through. And so many of these car dealers that are taking advantage of, a lot of vulnerable, desperate people. So remember that you can go to Earl on Cars and you can read all of his columns. But this morning, I want to advise you to read something that's extremely important, a tool for an out-the-door price from a car dealer. It's worth its weight in gold. So we also have our mystery shopping report coming up. And boy, I'll tell you what, you talk about a doozy. A lot of shenanigans. Mystery shop of Bev Smith Toyota of Fort Pierce. So I hope that an angry consumer doesn't catch up with those people that are employed at Bev Smith that are taking advantage of a lot of innocent, desperate people. So stay tuned, folks. We got a great show coming up. Give us a call at 877-960-9960. Or as Earl said, you can text us if you're a little shy at 772-497-6530. And don't forget, www.youranonymousfeedback.com. Back to the recovering car dealer.
We'll hear from Stu next. Stu is my son, as I said earlier. He's also the general manager of our Toyota dealership, which we try not to talk about on the air because people think we're here self-serving to sell cars to you. And this is definitely not any kind of infomercial. We acknowledge the fact that there are a lot of good cars out there, some of them better than Toyota, some models, and some of them, so we recommend Hondas, we recommend Subarus, we recommend you buy whatever car is suggested on Consumer Report. We're not here to try to, but what it does give us the advantage of being active car dealers is we're in the trenches all the time, and Stu is the general manager of the dealership, so he's really in the trenches, and he sees the business day by day, and this gives us ammunition to help you because we see what's going on. He's also Spy Master General, we call him, because he controls the mystery shopping report. So, Stu, what do you got in store for us today?
Well, what I got on my mind is what you already addressed, and that was the lengths that dealers are going to now in a time of crisis to innovate and come up with brilliant come-ons and new tricks to lure consumers in. It definitely makes my job a lot easier with the mystery shopping report, because I'll be honest with you, I was wondering if we're going to run out of ruses to uncover, and new ones are being developed every single day.
This has brought out some very, very crazy stuff.
Yeah, this is the stuff I haven't seen in years. I mean, literally since the early 2000s. And it's kind of funny. Down in South Florida, which is still under the restrictions, the lockdown, Miami-Dade County, Broward County, and Palm Beach County. The irony of that is that business is actually picking up in those counties. Even our dealership, we started off in the lockdown. Completely devastated by the drop off in business.
Scary.
And and we were one of the last ones to start to pick up. But a lot of the dealers down in Broward County and Miami-Dade County had months. Business last month that was very similar to a normal month that was in the middle of a pandemic. So knowing that, just realized that a lot of shenanigans are still going on. The business isn't as horrible as everybody anticipated, but I think it's given them an excuse to play really dirty. And also, you mentioned about owning a car dealership. It really does pain me to do a mystery shop like we did this week, because it is a Toyota dealership. We don't compete directly with them, so it doesn't give us much of an advantage to say anything potentially negative about them. It was just so egregious, and for people living on the Treasure Coast, you have to hear this mystery shopping report. Yeah. If anything, if Bev Sniff would listen to this and just stop doing what you're doing right now, you're going to hurt yourself in the long run. So we're doing them a favor too.
Absolutely. Well, let's hear from Rick Kearney. As I said earlier, we call him a computer scientist, although computer scientists used to call him years ago a mechanic. Did we ever call you a grease monkey? I don't think we did that one.
You did once.
No. And then he's evolved, and we've all evolved. This whole world of ours has become highly sophisticated and technical, and it's far more difficult to diagnose I won't say it's harder to repair the vehicles, but you have to know what you're doing to do a proper diagnosis today. And if you've got a modern car and a car bought within the past, what's modern? Past 10 years, past 5 years, maybe the past year. The technology is evolving so fast that you can't. Remember the days when you could pop the hood and look under there and say, oh, that's what's wrong with the car. Yeah, you pop the hood, now you're looking at a giant monolith module, 2 or 3 modules.
Very dense.
And what's underneath it. So if you have to get your car fixed, if you have some symptoms now, it's difficult. You don't want to drive into a car dealership, and you don't want to have to be exposed. And what do you do if you got a problem with your car? Rick, what would you suggest to the folks out there? Some of them are quarantined. Some of them are just dubious about having to sit in a customer lounge in a customer car dealership. What are they supposed to do?
Well, things are really weird right now, and I mean weird with a capital W. One of the biggest things that we see with customer cars lately is the customers don't always know how to operate a lot of the features. Well, just a couple months ago, I'd walk out, hop in the car with a customer, and I'd explain how the system works, how to pair their cell phone, how to make the navigation system work, how to get the automatic air conditioning set the way they want it, the controls for their garage door opener, all these different things, and understanding how the different braking systems operate, the cruise control now with radar cruise, and the pre-collision systems, all the safety features on these cars, by having a recording of that noise.
Yeah.
And it's great what that does for us.
Great tips, Rick. And if you have something in mind now, we're here till 10 o'clock this morning Eastern Time. Give Rick a call at 877-960-9960. That's 960-9960, and you can describe your problem. Rick is liable to be able to give you a good diagnosis right over the air. You can see him on Facebook. You can see him on YouTube. He's monitoring the YouTube's post directly, so if you're on YouTube, post something directly to Rick, anything about the mechanics of the car, things that you'd otherwise have to go to a repair shop, either a dealer or independent. You can call Rick. I guarantee you, we have we kid Rick. Sometimes we challenge people to stump Rick and we give them a prize. It's very rare that you'll find anything about an automobile, any make, year, model, mechanically, or I always say computerized now as opposed to mechanically, electronically, that Rick can't figure out. So give him a call at 877-960-9960 or text us at 772-497-6530. That's 772-497-6530. And I know what Nancy's thinking right now. I always forget to give out the you-know-what.
www.youranonymousfeedback.com.
Exactly.
Boy, my cell phone's going crazy. I'm listening to you from last week doing the sunrise.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, folks, we're going to go to our first caller, and she is from West Palm Beach, and it's Lorraine. Good morning, Lorraine.
Good morning.
Are you a first-time caller?
Yes, I am.
You just won yourself $50, Lorraine.
Awesome.
Great. You stay on the line. Give me your contact information. Well, you can give Mike in the control room your contact information, and I can make sure that you get that $50 check. What can we do for you this morning?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I am on my ride to work, enjoying the music.
Well, fantastic.
Glad we can help out.
Do you have any questions for us about your car, or how to repair or maintain it, or maybe buy another one? What anything on your mind about car dealers?
Not today.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, Lorraine, and call in again and look in the mailbox. That $50 check will be there in just a couple of days.
Yes,
And stay on the
absolutely.
line, and Mike will get your contact information so you don't have to give it out over the air.
Lorraine, we really appreciate you tuning in to Earl Stewart on Cars and hope that you will spread the word. I love hearing from the ladies because the show is for them also, and we need to build a platform here for them. So you have a wonderful day. Thanks again for calling.
Thank you, and believe it or not, I bought my first car from Earl's store.
Oh, well, thank you very much.
Very good.
Thank you, Lorraine.
Okay.
All right.
Stay safe.
Have a great weekend. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, www.youranonymousfeedback.com. We love hearing from you. And that number is 877-960-9960.
Okay. How are we doing on text? I know we got some anonymous feedbacks.
We got a few coming in. We can start with the anonymous feedback. I think there was one that came in during the week after our last show for Rick, and you forwarded it to Rick, and it was I think it was the question about the car sitting unused for too long.
Mm-hmm.
I'll read it again out on the air. It says, my dad once told me that when your car has been sitting unused for a long period of time, your fuel tank will build up condensation, which mixes with your gas and creates poor acceleration and performance when you go to use it. He recommended that I should have my tank fully topped off while it is sitting idle. Do you agree with his suggestion?
That's actually pretty true, especially in Florida with our high humidity. Summertime, I'm sure you guys know it. You walk outside and boom, wet blanket. Well, in the modern emission systems with your fuel tank, the government requires that your fuel tank actually be in a state of a vacuum, and it's sealed as tight as it can. But of course, they never always work like they should. So what happens is, instead of letting gasoline vapors escape out into the atmosphere, which is bad for the emissions, it will actually create a vacuum and draw air in, and it's drawing in that moist air. The water, of course, can collect as condensation, but we do have one little advantage. I'm sure you've all seen those stickers on the fuel about ethanol in your fuel, ethanol alcohol.
Yeah.
Well, alcohol actually acts as a catalyst to water and can allow water, it'll absorb the water into the alcohol, mix it, And then it can actually act as a catalyst and allow it to mix with the gasoline to then be burned. So the water vapor, of course, will simply pass through the engine without really doing anything as your engine's running.
Rick, I heard the term topped off, and I always think I hear topped off. I used to, until you corrected me, I used to always fill my gas tank up, and then when the pump automatically shut off,
Keep going.
I would squeeze it a little bit
Right.
until it came running out of the top, and I don't think I was doing the right thing, was I?
Yeah, that's actually two separate situations. The first one is by topping off, they're meaning just fill the tank normally. In other words, until the pump shuts off the first time.
Mm-hmm.
At that point, you should stop. Don't put any more fuel in the car, because if you try to do the old school top off, where you fill it all the way up to tube, liquid fuel can get into those emissions tubes and into the charcoal canister. And when it collects in that charcoal canister, it creates havoc. Your car will not run right, because instead of letting just vapors come up into the engine, it's actually sucking liquid fuel in there. And it can the liquid fuel can actually break down the insides of that charcoal canister and have charcoal coming up into your engine.
Boy, I got lucky because I used to do it all the
Oh, yeah.
time.
Yeah, I did it when you didn't know when you're going to get enough money to fill up your tank again.
Right. And now these systems have become so much more sensitive because, of course, every time the manufacturers reach a certain level of emission standards, the government comes along and says, now you got to do even better. And so they keep trying, but it makes these systems so very sensitive. Believe it or not, a pinhole that you wouldn't even be able to see in a vacuum hose can cause a car to fail its emissions testing, and it will trigger a check engine light.
Wow. Okay, getting back to the text. We have anything coming in now?
Okay, I think that we're going to go to Susan, who's giving us a call from
great.
Hope's End. Good morning, Susan.
Good morning.
Are you a first-time caller?
Yes, I am a first-time caller.
Well, congratulations. You just won yourself $50.
Oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
Oh, you're quite welcome. And if you stay on the line and give our guy in the control room your contact information, I'll get that check out to you this week.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for calling. What can we do for you?
I have a question for Rick. It's in reference to my air conditioner. I have a 2016 Corolla, and the air conditioner will run cold depending on what the temperature is outside. But if it's really hot outside, I can't get it to blow cold. But if it's like in the morning, it will blow cold. I just wanted to find out what that could be wrong with it.
Most likely you've got just a tiny little bit of a leak somewhere and have lost a little bit of that AC charge. One of the other things that has happened with modern cars, as the air conditioners have gotten more efficient, they've made things a lot smaller. There's a whole lot less Freon in that system. Or it's actually R134 now. But Freon's like a general term that we use, even though it's a trade name. It's kind of like Kleenex. But there's such a small amount in there now that even the tiniest little bit of a leak that loses only a little bit can cause your system not to blow cold during the real heat of the day. So what you might want to do, just the inexpensive check first, is find a reputable shop and ask them to recover, evacuate, and recharge the system to where they're sucking everything down, drawing a good solid vacuum on it, and recharging it with fresh, clean refrigerant, and then drive it for a while and see how long that lasts. If it stays good for a year and a half, 2 years, I wouldn't do anything else. If it lasts only about a month and then it starts seeming like it's getting warm, then I would definitely go for a leak test, find out where you've got that small leak, and see about getting it repaired.
Okay, because I noticed out of one of the vents it will blow colder than the other vent also. Is that related to that, or?
Absolutely. That's almost one of the direct signs that we use that means that you're just a little bit low on Freon.
Okay, well, that's good to know. I'm taking my car to Earl Stewart this morning to get the oil changed, so I'll have him look at it there. And all right.
Well, thank you very much, Susan. Any other questions?
No, that's it. Thank you so much, and I really appreciate all you do. I love your dealership.
Thank you,
Thank
Susan.
you.
Stay on the
Okay.
line now so you get that information.
Okay.
Yeah, I wanna-
Nancy will send you the check.
I want to thank you, Susan,
thank you.
For helping us build a platform here for the ladies at Earl Stewart on Cars.
Oh, you're welcome.
And thank you for everything and spreading the word and letting the other ladies know they too are very important to the show. So hope to hear
Okay.
from you soon. Keep listening.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, let's get back to the text.
All right. Earl, your dealership is in one of the 3 counties that remain under the lockdown. How does this affect your ability to compete with dealers in counties whose restrictions have been lifted?
Well, it's of course, in South Florida, most of
There
our
never was any competition.
most of the car dealerships in South Florida are in the same boat. Matter of fact, the restrictions will probably be lifted sooner in Palm Beach County than in Dade and Broward. It's just a question of, to answer your question, really, we haven't had a problem. It's almost a psychological problem for people. Even after they lift the restrictions, the question remains, who's going to be coming out anyway? This is unprecedented in human history. I think we're going to see it a long, long time before business totally returns to normal. But as Stu said earlier, we're already seeing people who are becoming more accustomed. The initial shock is starting to subside. People you see on television are demonstrating to go back to work, to open restaurants, to open other things. And so everybody's getting itchy. It's not necessarily a good idea, but it's a human thing that's happening. So for the retail people, I think the business will be getting better in Palm Beach County and South Florida pretty steadily. How far back? Will it ever get back to 100% pre-coronavirus? Well, it will eventually, but how long will it take? I don't think anybody can answer that. Okay.
All right, we have a text. It says, "Good morning, gentlemen, and pretty Miss Nancy Stewart. Even with that mascot answer, you look terrific." I think that must be voice to text. Even with that mascot answer, I think that meant with that mask on, you look terrific. This is your ex-UPS driver, Buck, and your ex-Home Depot person. My question is, if I were to buy a used Prius from you and it has 90,000 miles on it, I know the the battery warranty is 100,000. How would that be worked out if I were to buy a vehicle from you? Thank you. I haven't been listening to you guys, and I'm glad I came across you on my phone.
Well, I think the Prius battery is the texter saying that he has 90,000 miles on a Prius battery and he would trade it in?
He wants to know if he bought a used Prius with 90,000 miles on it, he would only have 10,000 miles remaining on the hybrid battery. He wanted to know how that would be worked out.
I'd be very nervous about buying one that had 90,000 miles on it. You could get lucky and you could drive that car for another 100,000, or you could get very unlucky and it would go out at 101,000 miles, in which case you'd have to argue to have the battery replaced. Practically speaking, Toyota has been very generous, and I think a lot of the manufacturers, when you're very close to having a battery that goes out of warranty, but you can't bank on it. It doesn't necessarily happen. You'd want to look into the cost of a rebuilt battery, remanufactured battery, because that would be less than a new battery. What are they going for now, Rick? What is the cost of a
installed in the car hybrid battery on say the Gen 3 Prius? They're running around $3,500 to $4,000.
Excuse me, Rick, but has the price really gone down from the very beginning? I remember it being so much more for the used and for the brand new battery.
In 2001, when the Priuses first hit the shores here,
Yeah.
that battery was $10,000 just for the battery.
Okay, that's what I thought.
So I just wanted to, Brock, I wouldn't worry about it because they've increased the hybrid battery warranty to 150,000 miles. And it's 10 years and 150,000 miles, whatever comes first.
150,000.
Yep.
Wow. Hey, Ernest, thanks for listening to the show. We really appreciate you. 877-960-9960, and you can text us at 772-497-6530. We're going to go to Maggie in Jensen Beach. Good morning, Maggie.
Good morning.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you. I had a lease, and I need to turn it in, but I need to turn it in early, and I'm trying to figure out a way to not get crucified.
Well, Maggie, one thing you might,
Can I get for you today?
Maggie, one thing you might be that you might be interested in is that you can generally get an extension on the lease. If you're nervous about driving around during this coronavirus epidemic, or shopping for a car to buy or lease, or just bringing it back in to have return it to a dealer physically, all the leasing companies now are giving extensions, and a 30-day extension is almost automatic. You could get a 60 or 90-day. My recommendation would be that you consider that, and that way it'll give you more time to evaluate your options. You might want to maybe exercise your option to purchase your car. There's a lease option purchase that's a possible good buy for you. There's also, you might want to buy a car instead of lease it. You might want to change to a different make car. So instead of having to feel the pressure to get it back in on the day your lease ends, get an extension for 30, 60, or 90 days, and you have more time to think about it.
Thank you. I'm definitely going to get another car. I had a really bad experience with the car dealership I bought this from, or I leased it from, and I definitely want to go to another dealership, another kind of car, because it was horrible.
Yeah.
And but now I'm kind of stuck with it for temporarily because of it's a lease, and
Sure.
it's just I've had so many problems with this car. It's a Hyundai Santa Fe. And it's just been the worst car I've ever owned. I've leased cars for years, but I'm going to turn this car in or buy it out and sell it and buy a used car, off lease, one time off lease, just because I've had enough.
I see.
I never want to lease again.
Well, Maggie, I don't blame you. And even though you're not happy with the car, it's a matter of how you feel, if you feel comfortable. If you feel comfortable about car shopping, the best way to do it is online. Car dealers are delivering cars now to their customers and when they buy them, and they're even offering delivery to try out cars to demonstrate. It's a little awkward. If you're buying a used car, you really have to drive the car carefully, inspect it, have it inspected by a mechanic. You want to be able to check it out with Carfax, and be sure that the car is in good shape, doesn't have any outstanding recalls. There's a lot of due diligence and work you have to do to buy the right used car. And if I were in your shoes, you've been leasing that car for about 3 years, I would guess. I'd lease it. I'd lease it for another 30 days anyway, so I could do my homework with Consumer Reports, check online. That way you don't have to venture outside and expose yourself to this coronavirus until you're good and ready and prepared.
Okay, thank you.
Are you a first-time caller, Maggie?
Yes.
Listen, Nancy has a pleasant surprise for you.
Maggie, you just won yourself $50 this morning. We're so excited. We normally we normally have the first 2 lady callers, but ironically, we have 3 lady callers, consecutive calls. So all we have heard from this morning is the ladies. So I thank you for that. You're helping to build a platform for the ladies out there, and you have won yourself $50. And if you stay on the line, you can give Mike in our control room your contact information, and I can get that check out to you this week. And Maggie, before you go, it's an amazing time to purchase a vehicle. I can't emphasize that anymore. And you can either get taken advantage of, or you can find yourself a fantastic deal. And I would suggest that you go to Earl on Cars and that you read his latest column, and that name of that column is A Tool for an out-the-door price from a car dealer. And I created an affidavit for you to take a look at and for you to use. And you definitely will be guaranteed an out-the-door price. No shenanigans, nothing, out-the-door price. So take advantage of that, Maggie, and keep on listening.
Thank you, I will. Thank you.
Have a great day.
Okay, Stu?
First of all, I'd like to say, Maggie, you have an excellent name. That's my daughter's name.
Yes.
Yeah.
And also Earl's advice about getting an extension on your lease. That's good advice in any time, not just during the coronavirus pandemic. A lot of people feel pressured to make a decision too quickly because their lease is ending and they think they got to turn the car in. I think every manufacturer, every lease company allows you to extend it. And usually it's about, you can do up to 90 days, I believe, without any issues, and then possibly beyond that. So don't ever feel pressured just because your lease contract's come into an end.
You know, that's great information, Sue. I got a text from Jennifer, and that's exactly where she is right now. The dealership is pressure. They said you have to come in, you've got to get that taken care of, and you've got to take care of it right now because your lease is up.
Exactly.
And we got to move forward, and she's afraid they're going to take advantage of her.
Yeah, all the dealers, they get notified. They have lists of customers who are coming close to the end of their lease, and that's when the marketing effort begins. So you'll have, not only will you have the manufacturer starting to solicit, you'll have the dealer, the salesperson, automatic emails, personal emails. I'm sure if you have released a car before, this is very familiar to you. So don't let the pressure get to you. Take your time, and if you have to, extend it.
Yeah, and Jennifer, if you didn't hear all the information that Stu just shared with the audience, you can always listen to our show later and jot down whatever you need as far as information. But like Stu said, don't let them pressure you. You've got your rights.
Well, we have a text here. Yeah. Here's a good question. It says, when is the best time to bring up down payment? And is it really lowering the cost of the car? I'll let Earl get into that, but it's kind of funny because I've seen, and we've seen on the show, car dealer ads. They'll have a price. It'll be a really, really low price, and it will say includes $5,000 customer cash. So they're actually advertising the price after you've given them the money. The quick answer is no, it doesn't lower the cost of the car.
Yeah, there's another interesting dimension to down payments. Dealers like big fat down payments, especially dealers that are trying to charge you a whole lot of money for the car. Not only does a down payment make the monthly payment sound low if they hide it in the fine print, but the more down payment they can get out of the buyer, the more profit they can make on the car, because the lender will only finance a certain amount over the actual ACV, actual cash value, the wholesale value of a used car, or the invoice value of a new car. And back in the old days, there used to be commission plans based on not just how many cars you sold or how big a profit, but on the amount of a down payment. If you can drag out an extra $1,000 or $2,000 from a customer to put down, then you can get the lender to finance more and more and more. And all you're doing then when you're coming out, in addition to maybe lowering your payment, you actually may be raising your payment because the dealer is going to be actually able to make an extra $2,000 to $3,000. The more you put down, the more the dealer can make.
Yeah, they can sell you more stuff in F&I, and that's the goal.
Exactly.
Car dealers will actually pay huge cash. Not back in the old days, they still do this. $500 for the biggest down payment of the day.
Yeah.
And that turns them into very, very aggressive salespeople for that.
It's almost counterintuitive because we're raised to say, you shouldn't finance a lot of money and borrow a lot of money. You should pay cash if you can. And then you should, if you are going to finance it, like when you buy a house, you should put down 20% or 30%. Yeah. That was the Puritan kind of a Scottish, really prudent. You're going to be financially responsible. And the car dealers will use that. But actually, if you insist on putting down no down payment, and you're going to finance the car, you have at least one safety stop in there, because the lender is very likely not going to finance very, very much profit for the dealer. They're going to limit the amount of profit the dealer can make.
Neither a lender nor a borrower be.
Ah, yes.
Early, don't do that. Actually, that gave me a thought. There are people who want to put a big down payment, and that's fine. You like lower the amount that you're actually borrowing, pay off the car quicker, but you kind of make yourself a target. If you go in there and you're buying a $25,000 car and you only want to finance $10,000 or $15,000, the bank will loan as much money as there's no limit on that to that car. So the F&I manager will know right then that this is a ripe target.
Exactly.
Everything on that F&I menu that they have, you could buy. Well, they can fit it into the loan.
Exactly. Okay, how are we doing?
Okay, we're going to go to our favorite caller, and that is John from Palm City.
Hello,
Good
John.
morning, John.
Good morning to everyone. I hope you're staying safe.
We are.
Earl's best advice last month, absolute best advice given, is never pay MSRP for the first or the last of any series of cars. I can give you at least a dozen examples, and Earl did give a good example of the Supra Toyota that went for over $1 million. But nobody's mentioned in January 2020 of this year, and Earl probably knows who the guy is, Rick Hendricks.
Yep.
He's an auto dealer. He's a NASCAR team owner. He paid, sit down for this one, at Barrett Jackson, January 2020, the first body number 1 2020 Corvette Stingray, $3 million. Unbelievable. I tell people this, they say no, can't be. $3 million.
Did he do that for charity, or was that his personal car?
Yes, he did it. He did it for charity. He did it for a boys' charity in Michigan, which was a good cause.
Yeah.
But the price was still $3 million.
That's insane.
So I want to just briefly give you what Earl's saying about a first and a lap. I was just started high school in '53 when Corvette came out, the first Corvette. Okay, it was $34.98. It was a bomb. 300 of them. They couldn't even sell them. They couldn't really give them away. They were all white.
In the paperwork, it's not delivered. I'm trying to be funny.
Well, it's you attorneys out there, you can call in on this one. I think you legally have bought a car when you sign all the paperwork. I think that you cinch the deal. It's like added difficulty of backing out once you take delivery. Right. It's called consideration. That's a legal term, and actually consideration is monetary, but there's also the assumption of a consummated deal when you physically take delivery of the product, whether you bought a product at the washer and dryer and it's delivered to your home, or a car that you drive home. But your attorney will always advise you, if you have any doubt in your mind, even if you were foolish enough to sign the papers, don't ever drive it home.
Yeah.
But you will find that car dealers will ask you to drive it home for two reasons. Number one, when you drive it home, you are emotionally attached to the car. They call it puppy dogging, because when you take the car home, it's like buying a puppy.
You fall in love.
And you show it to your kids, and everybody sees a little baby puppy, and who's going to take a puppy back to the store? Nobody. And your car is like your puppy. So they puppy dog the car, you take it home, and then there's a legal consideration fact. It's very difficult, because now the dealer can argue, well, you put miles on the car, we don't know how you drove it or where you drove it, and why should I take the car back? So don't ever be spotted, don't ever be puppy dogged. If you take that car home, you bought a car. You're not going to get out of the deal.
And then you have social pressure to keep it too, because you pull in the driveway, the guy goes, "Hey, Bob, nice new car,"
Yeah.
and then next morning it's gone. Maybe they think that you thought you couldn't afford it. It's embarrassing. You don't want to do that. So
Isn't that kind of what happened to you and Oreo?
Yeah, I got puppy dog with the cutest puppy dog the planet has ever seen.
You brought Oreo
Yeah.
home and everybody loved him. You couldn't take him back.
Right. It's also just harder. I mean, like if you sign the contract and don't take the car home, and then you say, "Listen, something came up. You don't want to do it."
But Oreo
It's
came
hard.
from where?
Big Dog Ranch Rescue, and I
Ranch
adopted her in the summer of 2016, all based on a cute picture that I saw on BDRR.org.
Now, hold up the book. So
Yeah. And Stu mentioning, and Earl, Big Dog Ranch, I have to spread the news about Earl's book if you haven't heard of it, and it's called Confessions of a Recovering Car Dealer. And guess what, folks? Not only are you going to absorb a lot of information, and it's going to save you so much time. It really is, and it's going to save you a whole lot of money. So take a look at Confessions of a Recovering Car Dealer, and remember, 100% of the proceeds, it goes to Big Dog Ranch Rescue. And it is a fantastic read. And with all the time that, well, some of us have on our hands during this pandemic, it's something to pick up, and you can go to Amazon and do just that.
Okay.
I just texted Earl a picture of Oreo, the one that got me. This is what hooked me in on your text. But I'll read this while he's pulling up the picture on his phone. This is from youranonymousfeedback.com. Says, hi, have any of you heard of Kevin Hunter, a.k.a. the Homework Guy? He's got a YouTube channel on how not to be taken. Can you deny that is not the cutest thing?
Is that a cutie pie or is that a cutie pie?
She's still just as cute, but she weighs about 10 pounds more.
Does she? Well, keep holding. I don't have it. I want to take a look at Oreo.
I
haven't seen her in a long time.
Oh, there's a little delay with that. You'll see it in a minute.
I hardly ever have been bitten by a dog, but Oreo bit me. And Stu was showing me his new dog, and I said, come here, Oreo, come here. And he jumped up and bit me on the leg.
I shouldn't have told her about you. That was the problem. Okay. I guess we'll just keep plowing through these anonymous feedbacks. It says, hi, is there any downside to buying a car demo instead of a non-demo car?
Hey, before we answer that
Yeah.
question, Robert has been holding,
Oh, sure.
and I want to thank you for your patience, Robert. Robert's calling from Jensen Beach. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you
I
for
just
waiting.
No problem. I just want to talk about how I think that new car dealers eventually are going to be a thing of the past. I think their days are numbered.
I think you're right.
Well, we agree on that. Robert, tell us, why do you believe that? What are your reasons?
Well, I see a lot of the new electric car companies coming up, all startup companies, and they're you buy direct from the factory.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And if they say the car you buy from the factory breaks down, I could see them having a national set of techs that just travel all over the country to fix them.
Yeah.
Now they're not going to have the overhead that a new car dealership has. Typically, how much is an FPL bill for a new car dealership per month?
Gosh, Sue could tell you exactly about
Around
it.
$12,000 a month.
That's a big nut to crack every month.
It
It
sure
is.
is.
And do you own the land that the dealership is on, or
Yes.
who owns that property?
We own the land.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
so now you got to pay taxes on that land.
exactly. Yeah, the overhead for a giant brick and mortar, and you're talking about just not car dealerships, but you're talking about a lot of, you see where Macy's and Target and a lot of the brick and mortar stores, Penny's is just about ready to close up entirely. So, yeah, the overhead is such that online buying and even, as you say, online repairing, it's funny you should call about this subject, Robert, because I had a call from an author. His name is Brian Deere, D-E-A-R. Look for his book. He's writing a book on this very subject, and he's in New Mexico. And he was telling me about the strong lobbying by the car dealers and the dealer associations in New Mexico to keep Tesla out entirely. Tesla stores in New Mexico are not allowed. In Florida, we have Tesla stores, but you still have to buy the car online. But you can go into the store and you can select your car, and you can have your car serviced at a Tesla store in Florida. But the dealers are afraid of the Tesla model for the very reason you cite. They're afraid that the dealership, franchise dealers, will be a thing of the past, and General Motors and Ford and Honda and Toyota will be selling direct just like Apple sells in their Apple stores. And it's going to happen. It's just a question of how much longer.
Absolutely. There's the future. Plus,
Yeah.
another thing, too, buying a new car is not a fun day. And when I mean that, it's an all-day affair.
Yeah.
By the time you're done, you're physically and mentally exhausted. Yes, you leave with a shiny new car, but it's not a fun day. I'd rather go to the dentist to get my teeth cleaned, personally.
Well, I have a blog article called "Would You Rather Have a Root Canal or Buy a New Car?" And you have.
Well, I don't know about a root canal, but I don't mind getting my teeth cleaned.
Well, Robert, thanks very much for the call. You and I see eye to eye on that one. You're entirely right. You said you would buy a car in one day. You're a better man than most because it takes a long while. I mean, you get beat up a lot. They play the games with you. And, sometimes you're just mentally, emotionally, and physically exhausted.
You're wiped out.
Yeah.
You're wiped out.
Yeah.
Well, enjoy your run. You had a heck of a good run.
Thanks, Robert.
Right.
Have a good one.
Thank
Take
you.
care.
Thank you for listening.
Bye.
877-960-9960, or you can text us at 772-497-6530. We'd love to hear from you this morning. And also, www.youranonymousfeedback.com. That's real important. I haven't heard any anonymous feedback, Stu.
Oh, yeah, we've been going through them. I got the next one lined up, ready for us.
Oh, great.
Wants to know, is there any downside to buying a demo car instead of a non-demo car? Is it true you can get a better deal on a demo than a non-demo? Thanks. Keep up the good work.
Stu, you can answer that better than I can.
Well, you should be able to get a better deal on a demo car. Unfortunately, that's not always the case. Demo car is a car that is used by employees of the dealership. They used to be used almost by every salesperson. It was ostensibly a way for them to demonstrate the car out on the road, to show their neighbors, their friends, get the car out there and try and drive some business. That's kind of fallen out of favor because it's pretty expensive. It also increases your insurance cost. If you're a dealer and you let every employee drive a car, then it's going to cost you more money in insurance. However, usually like the managers, the owner of the dealership might drive one, and they'll put miles on the car and they'll try to bring it back in and sell it. They need to disclose that as a demo, and they should treat it as a used car. While they carry that car in stock, the car is depreciating as it's being driven, miles are being put on it, and you should get a price comparable to a used vehicle of the same model year and similar miles. But that's not always the case. They'll push that it's a new car. They'll let you know that you're the first owner of the car, and technically that's true. It has never been titled before. So it's technically a new car, but it's effectively a used car that you're buying. So if you're negotiating for that car, to buy a demo car, insist on a big discount. You better be paying considerably less than what you'd pay for a new car with no miles on it.
Exactly. I just steer away from it in general. I look back over the years selling demonstrators, and I see dealers that charge everything that they call a demonstrator. It's whether the boss's wife drives the car or whether it's a rental car. And oftentimes you'll buy a new car that has as many miles on it as a demonstrator, because cars are dealer traded, swapped from different parts of the states, even out of state. And it isn't uncommon to have a new car with 300 miles on it. So I'd watch out for the specials on demos. I'd focus on buying a new vehicle, and I negotiate my best price on that new vehicle, getting competitive prices from at least 2 or 3 other dealers. And then if they want to sell me a demo, if they have a demo that's just like the new one I want, and it's $1,000 less than the price I negotiated on the new one, I might buy the demo.
Yeah.
But don't start with a new car and then move to the demo just for comparison purposes.
What I don't understand is how dealers or even customers who get starstruck by who drives it. This was driven by the dealer himself. Mm-hmm. Like that makes it a better car to drive. Now, maybe compared to a salesperson, they might think that he's older, more responsible, and would treat the car better. But it reminds me of a Seinfeld episode where George Costanza bought a car because he was told that John Voight used to own it, and that somehow made the piece of junk that he bought more appealing. So don't get starstruck. And you might want to pull up the topic, the idea of a demo. Let's say you get to a point and you cannot come to a price on a new car. You might ask the question, do you have any demos or demonstrators with low miles that I could get a better deal on, and see if you can go lower than the lowest price you can get. But like you said, look at it as a used car.
Okay. There was a time whenever, I'll say back maybe 10, 15 years ago, that there were rental cars, and I was one of the people that purchased one, and I saved a lot of money. But as you pointed out earlier, who drove the car, who beat it up, did they take care of it? What do you advise the audience as far as those rental cars, and are they still out there for purchase?
Yeah, I would treat it like you're looking at buying any used car. You have to look at the vehicle history reports, like at Carfax, and if you can have an independent mechanic or take it to a dealer that you trust that would do a free inspection or a very, very inexpensive inspection for you. People do beat the hell out of rental cars. Some people do it intentionally because they maybe have aggressive personalities and they've just been itching, but they don't want to do it to their own car. So just be careful. Treat it as a used car. The thing is, the same sordid history could be on any used car that you buy. So somebody could have abused it while they owned it.
But I would recommend, if you are going to buy a rental car, to go to a rental company. And we've experienced Hertz and Avis and National and Enterprise and all the rental car companies. It's far more sophisticated and civilized to buy a car from a rental company than the car dealer. And if you go in, it's one price. Most of them don't have dealer fees. It's more of a professional sort of a non-bait and switch kind of a deal. If you're buying a rental car from a dealer, then you're right back in the swing of it, and you have to be extra careful.
Yeah, I went to Enterprise, and I'll tell you, it was a great deal.
Yeah.
The car smelled good. There wasn't any smell of cigarettes, and it was a great deal back then, but it was many years ago. 877-960-9960, or you can text us at 772-497-6530. I can't mention it enough, www.youranonymousfeedback.com. We want to hear the truth. We want to hear the facts.
What about
Okay.
YouTube? We got any YouTubes at all?
We've been having a few technical issues where YouTube has kind of gone up and down.
Oh, boy.
Okay, well...
The internet's not been nice to us today. Skynet is just...
Oh, I thought that was just me. Okay, folks, we're going to go to Howard, who is a regular caller. Thank you for your patience, Howard.
Howard, we still got you with us?
Yeah.
Hi there.
I think you have me.
Yeah.
So, okay, I could just commend you on your on Earl Stewart Toyota's dealership, keeping us safe, keeping distances, and watching out for us. And now that I'm finished with the infomercial, let me ask my question.
Okay.
Okay, my question is this. I saw a gentleman digging in my condo. I'm in the Bluffs, and he was digging. And then I noticed he had some wires, and he was fastening these wires together. And I questioned him. I said, "What are you doing?" He says, "Well, I'm setting up a charger port for my Tesla." And so I said to him, "But I heard that you can't do it. You have to have a professional." He said, "I'm a professional, I'm an engineer, but I'm going to have someone approve it at the end." And then I asked him a couple of questions. He says that anybody could use this charger to charge up. He says, "That's not only for me, it's going to be a common grounds. People will be able to use it." So I don't understand, but I didn't ask him who pays for it. And if everybody uses it, there's a meter, I guess, and who's going to pay for this? So can you answer that question?
Boy, I hope Rick can, because I can't. I'd be very careful. If I had an expensive car like a Tesla, I'd want to probably have... I would think you could void the warranty very simply without an approved charger. And if Tesla probably is very careful about what chargers they do approve, a homemade charger is probably something can void his warranty, even if it did work. What do you think, Rick?
Yeah, I'd agree wholeheartedly with that one. I'd be very careful about it. And if someone's putting something in on your common grounds in a community, I'd be letting your community HOA or your homeowners association, whoever's in charge there, somebody needs to be checking that out to make sure safety issues are being followed and that everything's being done properly. And obviously it's going to get charged back to that association, whoever pays for the common lighting and everything. So for that side, I'd be rather nervous about it.
Yeah, Howard, about...
The association approved it, and the only stipulation is that a professional has to come in from the city of Jupiter and approve it. So that sounds like it's legitimate.
Okay.
What do you think, Rick?
Well, if it gets approval by the engineers and by the city, then I would say if you got an electric car, I'd go with it. I mean, it'd be the same thing as the chargers that you use at the city library or any other place you go.
But Howard, if I lived in that community like you, and I knew that they were opening up the common, power source that you pay for, all the people that live there paying for that in the common area maintenance, you're probably paying a couple $1,000s a month or $1,000 a month or something like that, and you're paying for some guy charging his Tesla. When you charge a Tesla battery, you're using up quite a bit of power. Multiply that by the number of other people using it. I'd register a complaint with the president of the association myself.
I'm going to bring it up. It's a good thing I'm speaking to you because I had no idea. I'm not an engineer. I had no idea. I thought it was, I thought it was a minimal charge, but now I'm learning that it takes quite a bit of power to
Yes.
power up something like a Tesla.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
I never heard that before.
No.
The other thing I was going to mention, you might mention to the guy, the value of that Tesla is about half the battery. In other words, if he paid $50,000 for that Tesla, the battery itself is about $25,000. So if he blows that battery up, he's got himself very expensive repair. It's not like a hybrid battery, even though they're expensive. They're not nearly as expensive as the huge battery they have in all electric vehicles.
Okay, now does Toyota put out anything close to a Tesla, or will they in the future put anything out close to a Tesla?
They will. Right now, well, Toyota committed to, they call it electrification, so that means some version of electrification, whether it's hybrid, all electric, and it's going to be on every model, and it's going to be over time, over the next 5-6 years. The closest thing they have now are these plug-in versions, which is a half step between a pure electric and a hybrid vehicle. So you plug it in, you'll have something like 25 miles of driving range in all electric at normal speeds. That's great. I actually drove one for a while, and my son drives a Prius Prime, which is a plug-in. And based on our distance of our daily commutes, we don't really ever use gas, and it's nice for a longer trip. The next step is these longer range batteries, and Toyota kind of stumbled in the beginning because they started to put their effort into the hybrid fuel cell technology, but they've pivoted and they're going back to an all electric vehicle as well. So we'll see more of those coming out. I'm as anxious as anybody else. I would love to drive an all electric vehicle.
Yeah.
That's not Tesla.
Rick had a point.
Well, we had the electric RAV for quite a while.
Yeah, that was back
running around in California.
Wasn't that back in like the early 2000s or even late 90s?
The first versions were in California in 2000s.
Yeah.
But now they've still got them, even now, the newest ones. And so Toyota is working on full electric vehicles as well.
What's the range on the newer RAV?
The best I know, they were running about 200 to 250 miles on a charge.
Like a lower level Tesla. Yeah. Cool.
Well, thanks, Howard. That's something I never heard before. So let me know what the association says if you complain about paying for your friend's Tesla charge.
Yeah, I'll call you up on the next show. Okay.
Thank you.
Hey, thanks.
You have a good day and keep safe.
Thanks, Howard.
Thanks, Howard. I wonder if that resident is going to rent out that charger. He's going to supplement his income.
The cool things with the electric vehicles, there's it's called Plug Point, I think is the name of it. I might have gotten that wrong. It's just an app, and you can locate any charging station, SharePoint, and you can locate any charging station anywhere in the United States with the app. And there's an account because I wondered about that in the future. Because we have some electric charging stations at our dealership, and right now they're available to anybody. At some point, when there is enough electric vehicles on the road, it will have an impact on your electric bill, and there is a small charge in pennies, but it adds up. So basically, it covers what you lose by giving away electricity.
The cool thing about charging your electric vehicle is that you typically charge it at night. You plug it in at night, and at night is when you have minimal power demand. So there's a huge savings to the power production of any community or state when you're able to use that power that's not used before at night, and you have to run your generators or whatever it is that's producing the power to be able to run them continuously, more so than peaking during the day and dying off at night. If you have a bunch of electric vehicles being charged at night, it'll tend to even things off. On the other hand, you could come where it's the other way around, where you have huge demand at night because all electric vehicles are being charged, and you'll be right back where you started from. But it's an interesting problem.
Yeah. All right. We have a text that says, "Good morning, everyone. Glad to see you guys are all doing well, watching you live on YouTube. Just wanted to know if you guys found out anything on the topic that you mentioned a few weeks ago, and that was on the Car Shield. They didn't remember the name of it, but I do remember it was the warranty, the thing that we're seeing commercials on for Car Shield. It's a aftermarket extended warranty. And yes, I did look it up, and I do have, I advise caution with Car Shield. So extended warranties are really service contracts. They're not an actual warranty. It's just you pay to have an insurance product to fix things if your car breaks down. And the best warranty offered by CarShield is called their Diamond policy. And by the way, just really quick, if you're in Florida and you buy an extended warranty, that's considered an insurance product and is regulated by the state insurance commission. And they have to set a price. They can't haggle with you on the price. So the prices are registered with the state. So that's good news in Florida. That way you can compare apples to apples. But this is an exclusionary warranty, which is not weird. But when you read the things that it excludes, I would advise you, and I don't know the price because I did not want to give them my phone number, email address, and be hounded for the rest of my life. But it excludes things such as LED lights, taillight assemblies, keyless entry pad and transmitters, compact disc players, battery cables, distributor caps, catalytic converters, hoses, belts, wiper lids. That's all standard. But it looked like a lot of things that we don't normally see in an exclusionary warranty. So it looks like it's not covering things that you would expect to be covered by a car warranty.
And also, if you notice fine print, I looked at it. I made it a point of looking carefully. And CarShield is illegal to be sold in several states, California and about a half dozen other states.
There you go.
It's not available for sale, and they do that because what they're charging you for is probably $2,000 or $3,000 for a warranty or extended warranty service contract that you'd never be able to use.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, we got YouTube.
Well, we got a couple actually have just popped up. The first one I'll go with is Donovan Lewis says. He says, in most places, though, it's not cheaper to charge at night. Rate-reduced times have actually gone away to a fixed per kilowatt-hour price. And that actually goes along with a lot of the idea that a lot more people now are almost becoming night owls with the Internet, and we're becoming a worldwide Internet community.
Well, I don't think Internet has that much power demand, but I think that it depends on the region. I mean, you have regions where there's a huge amount. Let's take a manufacturing area where the manufacturing is done typically during the day. So when you have a lot of machines and things that are drawing a huge amount of power, and at night things calm down.
Yeah, FPNL has a reduced rate for evening.
Yeah. So region by region, my guess would be California because they jumped on the electric bandwagon early, the hybrid bandwagon, and then the electric incentivized it and require a lot of manufacturers to provide these cars. My guess would be that there's probably a large draw on power in California, but when it started out, it wasn't so.
Yeah.
Yeah, they call it time of use rate. That's what FPNL calls it.
Yeah.
And KitKat makes a really interesting point here. Says, have you guys seen Michael Moore's new documentary that shows all the electric green technology, especially all electric cars? It shows how dirty the green technology is and that it's polluting the heck out of South America with the digging of the lithium, and that high mile per gallon cars are actually cleaner than electric cars in the overall sense.
Yeah, I heard that on CNBC actually, and I was surprised because Michael Moore is generally considered to be one from the far left, and some of his views on capitalism and so on and so forth were suspect based on political bias. But now he's taken a position that is something you'd expect from the extreme right. So whether he's right or wrong, I think I'd love to watch that video because for a person who normally you assume would think that they would praise green efforts, now he's saying that the green efforts actually are polluting the planet more than the gas and oil, which everyone assumed was the main villain in all this thing. So, yeah, Michael Moore video. I'll probably Google that and check it out.
And the next one I have here is Kyle Smeltz is asking, is the 10-year, 150,000-mile Toyota hybrid battery warranty only for 2020 vehicles and newer?
They increased it last year, I think. So don't kill me if I'm wrong. I think it's 2019 and up.
Okay. And that got us caught up here.
Very good.
And I'm going to research that because I'm starting to question myself. I think they might have done some retroactive warranty on that. So when I have a moment, I'll Google it.
Okay.
Okay, this is a text. Says, good morning. I hope everyone is well. A couple of questions. With how bad this pandemic is, I'm surprised the car dealers I've seen aren't more aggressive. 0% and 90-day deferment is nice, but they are already doing 0.9%, 1.9 with 90-day deferment. Do you think the deals will get better next month? And will the new car deals be better in 4 to 6 months? I just want to address on those low interest rate promotions. Some manufacturers are offering the 0% for 7 years, the 84 months. So that is the question is that actually better? And we can debate that, and I'm sure Earl has some thoughts on it. But you're absolutely right. Low interest rates have been low since the Great Recession, and seeing 1.9 and 0.9% financing on certain models is really common, even on high volume things like Toyotas and Hondas. One of the things that Toyota did with the 90-day deferment is they opened it up to all credit tiers. It used to be you could get a 90-day deferment if you're in the top credit tier. Now they've taken it down to the level 4, tier 4, so now they've expanded that. But I'll let Earl talk about the low interest rates for long terms.
Yeah, the incentives are not as good as they appear to be, and 0% used to be a really good deal, but now because interest rates are so low, it's really not that a good deal. You have to do your arithmetic. You have to really sit down with a pencil and paper and a calculator and decide whether the cash rebate that usually is offered as an alternative to the low interest is better for you. If you're financing more money for a longer period of time, the lower interest rate, 0%, could be the better way to go. If you don't want 84 months, which you're crazy if you do, I think, 6 months or 6 years is bad enough. 5 years is a test.
What was the typical term back when you first became a dealer?
What was the term? Oh, well, it was 24 months,
Yeah.
and if you were crazy, you went 36 months.
Yeah.
And a lot of people did 12 months. The cars last longer. The cars are more reliable. Interest rates are lower. So it's not a black and white issue. You can't just say a low interest rate offering for long term is good or bad. Depends on you, your driving habits, the car you buy, and how much down payment you want to put down. But you just have to do a what if scenario. What if I do 0 down for 72 months at 0%, or what if I do $5,000 down for 5 years? It's complicated buying a car now, and the car dealers will use that to their advantage. When you see the 0% financing and you see the no down payment or whatever they're advertising, you got to see the fine print. And our Mr. Shopping report this afternoon, coming up very shortly, you will see what can happen to you if you don't read the fine print. The offers, you see it on TV, read it in the newspaper, or see it online, is not the truth.
Yeah.
You can almost, and I'd almost say positively assume, every car ad is a lie. Even the manufacturer's car ads are lies.
Yeah.
And you have people out there saying, now, Earl, you've really gone crazy. I call it a lie when you make an offer for a price or a monthly payment or a down payment or a percent interest, and the offer is contradicted in the fine print. Now you can say, well, legally that's not a lie, and maybe you're right, but morally it is a lie.
Right.
Every car advertisement, they're not telling you the truth.
Basically, the fine print can be translated as not really.
Yes.
So it's $10,000 off, not
Yeah.
really.
Absolutely. And folks, knowledge is power. And I mentioned Earl's book earlier, Confessions of a Recovering Car Dealer. I'll tell you what, like I said earlier, there is so much information in there that'll help you. And you'll be helping out our fuzzy little friends out at Big Dog Ranch Rescue, because 100% of the proceeds goes right to them. And I can't mention Consumer Report enough. It's my favorite book is Confessions of a Recovering Car Dealer, but I'll tell you what, a home should not be without Consumer Reports. There is so much information in there, especially now with the pandemic, to answer all of your questions, and that includes keeping your car clean and so much more information. If you didn't jot that number down, or if you just tuned in, you're listening to Earl Stewart on Cars, and that number where you can reach us is 877-960-9960, or if you're a little shy, give us a text, 772-497-6530. And don't forget, youranonymousfeedback.com. We're going to go to Warren. Oops, we lost him. Hey, Warren, if you're listening, give us a call back.
You know, I was thinking about the 84-month thing. I think just as general, I mean, I could be wrong. I just think as a general rule of thumb, because we can't predict the future, if there's a choice between a big rebate and a low interest rate, the car manufacturers, they're not stupid. They're not just going to like give this giant. I mean, it's effectively the same amount of cost to them. You can't predict the future. I'd take the cash rebate any day because if once you do that on day one, you realize the full benefit of that incentive.
Absolutely.
If you get 84 months and you trade it in 2 years or 3 years.
I hate to say positively, and I agree with you 90%, but if you're buying an expensive vehicle, and let's say you're buying a $60,000, $80,000, $90,000 vehicle, and you finance it $90,000 for 7 years for 0%. It has to be one whopper of a rebate to offset the advantage if you're going to keep the vehicle that long. And there are people out there that keep their vehicles and they plan on it. They don't put a lot of miles on them and they keep them for 6-7 years.
Yeah.
So,
but that's such a small percent. I mean,
small percent.
Most cars are around $30,000.
I agree.
Yeah, I love a rebate. I'm the rebate girl. Ask Earl. I am relentless. Okay, we are going to go to Warren, who's calling us from Pompano. Warren's calling us from Pompano Beach. Good morning. How are you, Warren?
Hi, how you guys doing?
We're good.
I'm up here stuck in northern New Jersey, and I think I called you last week. And they're not selling any cars. It's like there's nothing here, so I'm looking at maybe June or July or buying one. But I just wanted to make a statement about buying online. Happened to a relative of mine. This is one of the pitfalls. He's a techie kid, and he said he buys everything online, everything he buys online. He bought a car, a very expensive car online, and then when he got to pick up the car, he didn't realize it, and when he got home, it was missing one of the things he wanted on the car, and it was too late. And I just wanted to, say that you got to be careful when you buy these things online, because you never know unless you're 100% sure exactly what's in the car.
Sure. You're absolutely right, Howard. And there's also, I don't know the New Jersey law, but in Florida and different states have laws about being able to back out of a deal when it's consummated at your home. If they deliver the car to your home and you buy the car online, and there are a lot of products that you have 72 hours or 3 days in Florida to return it. Not so with an automobile. And a lot of people think that they have a right, they call a right of rescission, to back out of the deal in 3 days after a home sale. And that was originally put into place to protect people from, back in the day, the encyclopedia salesman or the Fuller Brush man. They don't have those anymore, but not many people are selling cars directly to people in homes. But if you buy a car and the car is bought online, they deliver it to your home, it's a done deal. You cannot back out of the sale.
Well, yeah, and also because when he called up and he realized what was missing, it was a couple of years ago, and he wanted the car came with a backup camera, but at that point it was extra, but he ordered the backup camera. And when it didn't have it, he didn't realize or didn't look at it or whatever. When he called up, they said to him, well, here's the paperwork. You ordered model 7271, but it's model 7271A with the backup camera. Goodbye and good luck.
Yeah.
And, he had to put it in and cost him $700 or whatever on it.
Yeah.
The other point that I wanted to make was a friend of mine just bought a car in Tampa. He bought a used Cadillac for $28,000. Actually, it was $32,000 because he traded in an old one. It had 9,000 miles, with 2 years old. So I thought it was a fantastic deal because the car is like a $55,000 car, and the dealer was just happy to consummate a deal. So I don't know if it's a good deal or not, but it sounds like a pretty good deal to me. So just to prove your point, that you can get some pretty good deals now if you look for it.
Warren, you're right. I always advocate buying a good used car. The trick is to be sure you're getting a good used car. And if you do your homework, it's far better value than a new car. You get a 2 or 3 year old Cadillac, low mileage, good Carfax report, hasn't been any kind of an accident, it's a much better value. 3-4 years from now, when you want to trade that back in, the depreciation is nominal compared to the depreciation if you'd bought the new Cadillac.
Yeah, the car was. And I don't know what the story was. It's some little old lady from Pasadena drove the car or whatever, and one of those things. But it was from a dealer. It was from a Cadillac dealer. He showed him the Carfax report. He took it to he said he could take it to a mechanic. He actually didn't say it was never in an accident. Yeah. It was complete new car, whatever the reasons were, why it was turned in, I don't really know. But when he said he's getting it, I think he gave him a good deal. Like I said, they gave him $4 for the old car, so it cost him $28,000. Plus, it had a warranty, not just a powertrain warranty. It had a warranty for like 3 more years on it, which most from the manufacturer that goes to like 75 or 80,000 miles on it. Well, all the major stuff. So I said, I don't think you could get a better deal than that anywhere.
That's a great buy.
Sounded pretty good to me, but. Because again, he went to the dealer, and the dealer was like, just wanted to make a deal to move some cars.
Yeah.
Because nobody was coming in on it. So I said, and what's 9,000 miles on a car? It's nothing.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right, Warren. It takes a little more work. You got to be sharper. But if you're willing to do the work and you're sharp and careful, used car is far better value than a new car.
Yeah, and I just want to thank you. Your show is great. And when I'm going to buy a car, I'm going to, all your tips you give are really come in handy. And I tell a lot of people, some of the tips are great. Some people listen, some people don't, but what can you do? But it's a really fun show. I really enjoy listening to you.
Well, thanks, Warren. Please call again and stay safe out there.
You got it. Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Warren. Thanks for bringing up that great point, because there are a lot of people who do listen and some that don't. And like I always say, knowledge is power, and we're here to try to help all of the consumers. 877-960-9960, or you can text us at 772-497-6530. Now back to the recovering car dealer.
I think Rick's got YouTube.
We do. Donovan has got a statement here. He says, I've seen many car dealers not really reducing the prices of their cars, but they're paying much less for the used cars. They say your car is worth nothing, but their car did not drop in value. Not fair.
So?
I wasn't paying attention, I confess.
Yeah, I think this
something.
one goes back to your statements, Earl, where when you encounter a dealer like that, walk away and just find a different dealer, because right now, I think, like you've said, a lot of the dealers are up in arms. They don't really know where things are going, and things are very uncertain right now.
You can go into a dealership, and if they have 10 salesmen or 100 salesmen, there's some rotten apples probably, and you get people that are just you don't like them, you don't agree with them, you think they're taking advantage of you. If you have the courage, and a lot of people don't want to be offensive, just say, I'd like to go to the manager, say I'd like another salesperson. People should deal with people they feel comfortable with. I mean, if you're female, maybe you feel more comfortable talking to another woman. If you're a young person, maybe you want a young person. You are in the driver's seat when you go into a car dealership. You have control. They're going to try to take control. And one of the best ways to keep control and take control is insist on getting a salesperson that you feel comfortable with. And there are in every dealership, some of the most crooked dealers, there are a few salespeople in there that really care, and they are uncomfortable. They're there because they need the job, and they got to feed their family, but they will treat you honestly within that environment, even though the dealership itself is one you wouldn't want to normally deal with.
Now that's some great advice.
Yeah. Stu?
Okay. I got a text from Anne-Marie, longtime listener, longtime texter, and we met her in person once. Good morning. Most of us are not driving as much as we used to because we're sheltering in place. When it comes time to trade our cars in, they will have lower mileage than usual, assuming sheltering lasts for a while. Will cars have a better value when it comes time to trade them? Thanks. And she's glad to see we're all fine. Thanks, Anne-Marie. Absolutely. Lower mileage car is worth more, but I'd caution that the it's relative to other cars. So
It's supply and demand,
Yeah.
too. When these cars come back and people are getting back into the buying cycle, they'll be coming back a large amount at one time. So it's supply and demand, although it will be offset by the idea that it has lower mileage.
unless everybody's cars has less miles.
That's true.
So it is relative. Okay. Let's see.
Excuse me, Stu.
Yeah.
You know, while I'm thinking about it, I want to give a shout out from all of us here at Earl Stewart on Cars to Tina. I want to let you know that we really miss you, and we hope that all is well with you.
Yeah.
And well, maybe next week we'll hear from you. And thank you to Anne Marie for always texting us every week.
Yeah,
Back
Tina Bonita. Tina from Bonita Springs,
Bonita,
right?
yes,
right.
Bonita Springs.
We've had several requests for her calls from texters and anonymous feedback
Yeah.
people.
Let us know how you're doing, Tina.
Okay, we have Steve in New Jersey says he just want to say thanks. He incorporated much of Nancy's affidavit. He used that to send that out. RFQs, he called them those. That stands for requests for quotes. He sent out multiple RFQs to several dealers over the internet, which means he emailed them. Mostly the dealers gave me true out-the-door quotes, although a few included incentives I didn't qualify for. Surprise. With information provided by you, I was able to easily identify the dealers who provided true out-the-door quotes. My
Wow.
buying process was made easy by your guidance. Also, I'm certain that I got a decent OTD price, that's out the door, and equally important to me, I bought it from a very reputable dealer. Thanks again. Thanks,
Now,
Steve.
that is really cool. That's got to make you feel good, doesn't
I
it,
like
Vincent?
that. I really do, you know, because it's been a long time since, well, anyone has just walked into a dealership and walked out with the price that they quoted. I mean, it's easy, you know. And you can go to Earl on Cars and you can download that affidavit, and it is a great tool for an honest price from a car dealer.
You know what? We're gonna try the same thing. Let's do that. It'll be kind of like a supplemental shopping report. We'll go out and we'll send the affidavit, email it to various dealerships, and we'll see what percentage respond and how they respond. It'll be very interesting. I'm so happy that someone had success in doing that.
Yeah.
I'll dress up. I'll go out. I'll dress up. I'll have a special outfit, and I'll have my tool for an honest price, and we'll see where it goes.
Put on like a fake mustache and sunglasses and
The whole kit and caboodle.
all right, we have a few. We're getting close. I think it's a long mystery shopping report. We do have a few texts, and we do have some anonymous feedback. Probably have time on my end for maybe one more. Do you want to go for a one critical of us or a car one?
We want to run the video too. So why don't we do the video and the report, and then we'll get to the text. Hopefully after we get through with the report.
Let's do that.
And folks, you can rate this mystery shopping report, and I want to tell you, you're going to be blown away. And please rate the mystery shopping report. Your rating is very important to us at 772-497-6530.
Okay, Jonathan, can we get the report, the YouTube up? While we're putting this YouTube up, we're going to tell you that we're mystery shopping Bev Smith Toyota in Fort Pierce. And this is the TV advertisement that the mystery shopper responded to. And I want you to tell us, or mentally think what your impression would be from this television advertisement from Bev Smith Toyota in Fort Pierce, Florida. Here we go.
Now is the best time to buy at Bev Smith Toyota. Drive our most popular models with 0% financing for 84 months. Or make no payments for 6 months. Plus, you get a lifetime warranty and we'll pay off your trade. Shop 24/7 at BevSmithToyota.com. We'll even deliver the vehicle to you.
At Bev Smith Toyota Fort Pierce, where your Toyota's different. Bev Smith Toyota's where the savings are at.
Oh, man. I got to hear that again. Jonathan, can you run that again? Or is that going to be...
Are you ready for some savings?
I'm getting that.
Is that Frank singing this, or is that?
Now is the best time to buy
Frank
at
Gonzalez?
Bev Smith Toyota. Drive our most popular models with 0%
sounds like him.
financing for 84 months, or make no payments for 6 months. Plus, you get a lifetime
I think Frank
warranty
comes in
and
here
will
in a
pay off
second.
your trade. Shop 24/7 at BevSmithToyota.com. We'll even deliver the vehicle to you.
At Bev Smith Toyota Fort
Yeah,
Pierce,
see?
where
Yeah,
your
that's it.
Toyota's different. Bev Smith Toyota's where the savings are at.
You got a sharp ear.
Yeah, I'm not in the country. I forgot. That's the Monday Night Football guy. Who's the singer there? Is that Charlie Daniels? It's not Charlie Daniels. Who is that? That's
Hank Williams.
Hank Williams Jr.
Hank Williams
Hank
Jr.
Williams
yeah, Frank,
Jr.
you sound a lot like Hank Williams Jr. You got
Okay,
you got
folks, now you
future.
just saw this ad. You've got something in your mind, and this is our Agent Thunder that's going to do this mystery shop. Responding like you would sounds pretty good, right? I mean, 84 months, 0%. Man, if you haven't noticed the deluge of car dealer advertising on TV, you must be quarantining in a cave. I can't remember a time when the airwaves were more crowded with car ads. Surprising to me. I mean, it costs money, but there's a discount, and maybe that's the reason. Car dealerships in Florida are considered essential businesses, and during the lockdowns, they're permitted to stay open. Dealers are scrambling to find ways to minimize their losses from the pandemic and devising innovative schemes to attract customers. TV stations and other media outlets are also essential businesses and have suffered enormous losses in advertising revenues. Thousands of businesses close their doors and cancel their advertising. The media is also suffering from an effective suspension of the 2020 election. 2020 was supposed to be a banner year for the advertising business, with billions, with a B, billions of dollars being spent by candidates for all offices from city council to the U.S. presidency. With most of the nation locked down, the volume of political ads have dwindled. Desperate for sales, media advertising departments are slashing rates to attract advertisers. We talked with our dealership and got huge discounts in advertising rates. It's very welcome to us and other car dealers. Funny how it all works out. So with cheap ad rates and car dealers fighting for survival, we get a perfect storm of deceptive bait-and-switch advertising. We've never seen anything like this, and knock on wood, we probably will never see it
I
again.
should have said hopefully.
Hopefully, yeah. A common theme we're seeing in these ads, regardless of manufacturer, is 0% for 84 months. Man, that's 7 years. 7 years. No payments for 6 months. Now,
We're getting close to mortgage territory here.
and people are thinking, hey, I lost my job, but the pandemic will be over. In 6 months, I'll be back in the saddle again. What a perfect deal. I can buy this car, finance it for 7 years, don't have to make a payment for 6 months. I'll have my job back. And the dealers believe that you're going to flock in and jump on this.
Sign me up.
So you got to decide, and Stu and I talked about this earlier, is 84 a month really a good idea? 99% of the time, no. It can be, but you just don't want to lock yourself in for 7 years. You are many years into that 7 years before you're even at break even, and what they call upside down, negative equity. You're locking yourself in, and you change your mind, a new model comes out, you want to buy, maybe important safety features. You're locked in, you're upside down, and you're in impossible to
Maybe
trade.
you didn't buy gap insurance and you get into an accident and then you're screwed.
God. Then you're in trouble. Our investigation this week was centered on a dealer ad put out on TV and online by Bev Smith Toyota in Fort Pierce. If you're listening in South Florida, you're probably familiar with Bev Smith Toyota's spokesman, General Manager Frank Gonzalez. He's also a part owner.
Yes.
Nick Smith is the owner, I believe, unless he sold out completely to Frank. Bev Smith was his father, so it's called Bev Smith Toyota, but Nick Smith, I believe, is the majority owner, and Frank Gonzalez is a minority owner, but he runs the store.
Yep.
Bev Smith Toyota's online ad for 0% APR for 84 a month is headline, Bev Smith Toyota Stimulus. We want to help. You get that? Bev Smith Toyota Stimulus. We want to help. He's saying we're helping you during this pandemic.
Oh boy.
www.ain'tgonnahappen.com.
And I know how this ends.
Yes.
Spoiler alert. It doesn't.
It goes on, this advertisement, with you heard or saw on television if you're streaming.
And they have it online, reproduced right on their website. So,
Yeah, right. So you can go online and look at it. It goes, here we are, I'm a Toyota dealer, and I'm asking you to listen to my competition's advertisement, okay? It goes on to proclaim, just announced 0% APR financing for 84 months, get a check for up to $5,000 when you buy, make no payments for 6 months when you buy or lease, get a $25 Walmart or Lowe's gift card with any test drive, and you can even have us bring the car. It's a home test drive. You don't have to come in. $25. Before the ad, there was a thick block of the smallest, most illegible, mind-numbing fine print I've ever seen. The text was in all caps, white over dark red, and if you have ever looked at white over dark red, you can't. Your eyes just
and it's really
won't-
thin.
you
It's not a
can't see
bold.
it.
It's like
Yeah, you can't even read it on the TV screen, and if you could read it, it's not up there long enough to be able to absorb. It's invisible. It should be. It is against the law.
Mm-hmm.
Offers on select model. Here's what it says. I'm going to read it to you. This is a fine print you can't read. Offers on select model with approved credit. Example: vehicle new 2019. 2019, not a current model. Toyota Sequoia, big markup. MDL.
That's the model number there.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Hashtag 7919. MSRP 58,885. Cash back in lieu of all incentives
Right.
and rebates. So, for retail new Toyota contracts, first 3 months deferred through SET. That doesn't mean you don't make the payments, but they're deferred. In 3 months, you got to make all the payments.
Yep.
Next 3 months paid for by Beth Smith Toyota up to $1,500. What that means, he increased the price of the car, so he could take that and use it to defer your payments. So it's not deferring them at all. You're still making the payments, but you're making them when you buy the car. Interest accrues during deferrals. I just said that. And so you're paying interest during the deferral, even though you don't get the money out of pocket. For lease, new Toyota contract, 6 months covered by Beth Smith Toyota, up to $3,000. Gift cards provided by Beth Smith Toyota for new and used car test drives, one per household, prior test drives excluded. Finance offer available. Listen to this, folks. As John from Palm City would say, better sit down for this one.
Yep.
Here is the fly in the ointment. Finance offer available through Space Coast Credit Union for first responders and medical field employees only. Folks, this is just not just illegal, it's just cruel.
Yeah, I
It's nasty. They are taking a special offer for the heroes out there who are exposing themselves to the COVID-19 virus, the first responders, the doctors, the nurses, the ER attendants, the people that are out there risking their lives. The Space Coast Credit Union is offering them this marvelous deal of 84 months, 0%, legitimately to those first responders. Beth Smith Toyota is hiding that fact in the fine print to get you to come in on this advertisement. So, if you have perfect vision and own a microscope, you'll be able to spot
You
the
skipped.
catch.
I think you skipped the rest of it.
Oh, I did. Yeah, okay, I'm sorry. These charges, these charges represent cost and profit to the dealer. I missed the dealer fee.
Yeah, all offers exclude.
All offers exclude tax tag, title, registration, $898.50 dealer fee, and then there's a dealer fee disclosure, which says they represent profit of the dealer for items such as inspecting, cleaning, and adjusting the vehicle. And by the way, Toyota reimburses them for inspecting, cleaning, and adjusting the vehicle, and so they're trying to double dip you with a phony dealer fee, a hidden fee, and the offer expires on May 4th. So if you have perfect vision, I'll show this on camera. You can see what the fine print looks like. You can't read it, especially on television or online for a video. You can't read it. I can't read it here, and I've got a snapshot. If you have perfect vision on a microscope, you'll be able to spot the catch. Actually, there are several catches. The big one has to do with the offer of 0% for 84 months. To get that, you have to get a membership in the Space Coast Credit Union, and you probably pay for it, and be a first responder or an employee in the medical field. I think it's great that there are special offers for the brave women and men who are fighting the war against COVID-19. This ad was meant for those folks. This ad is meant to fool everyone into believing they can get 0% for 84 months. The only reference to first responders and healthcare workers is buried in the, I'm going to call it, invisible print. It's not just fine print, it's totally invisible.
Frank, of course, is asking, did the fine print mention you must also have a three-legged dog named Skippy?
I don't think
Might
so.
as well.
But maybe next ad.
Sorry, I had to bring that one.
We knew we had a bait and switch on our hands, but the question that remained, how the dealer would explain to his customer that the deal was not real. Agent Thunder was activated, and I'm going to be Agent Thunder, speaking in the first person. I pulled in the parking lot of Bev Smith Toyota in the early afternoon. I walked around the showroom for a few minutes, hoping to attract a salesperson. Then I entered the showroom after no one came out to greet me. They were not busy inside, and I asked the receptionist to find someone to help me, and she summoned Greg. Greg offered me an elbow and the, what do we call it, the COVID-19 bump. Mm-hmm. I could tell he was smiling behind his mask. He asked me what brought me in. I said I was there to get a Camry. I told him I wanted to do the 0% for 84-month deal. Greg replied with an enthusiastic, perfect. Then he led me to a seat at the desk and asked me to collect information. He entered everything I told him into the computer, asked for my driver's license. He left me for several minutes as he made copies of my driver's license, then returned and asked how much money I planned to put down. We talked about how much I could use as a down payment for a while, then settled on $3,000. Then he took me, began to ask me questions about what kind of Camry I wanted to get. And then this took another 20 minutes. I mean, it's a lot of time of my time as a buyer, purportedly. We landed on a new 2020 Camry SE in white. Greg said he'd like to go find the car that we could test drive, then offered me some very interesting information. Here it comes. He said, I do need to inform you that in order to qualify for the 0% ad, you have to be in the medical field. I mean, that's pretty low key. He didn't look, he wasn't crying. He didn't look fearful. He just looked me in the eye and told me. I acted surprised, and I responded, you do? Greg replied, yes, it's in the ad. You didn't see it? I mean, what a brazen. I have to swallow my profanities here because I'd like to say something about what Greg is, to be able to take that kind of a attitude and not, break into a laugh or start to cry. I said it must have been in the fine print. He chuckled and said I'd be better off financing for a shorter term. Yeah. Then he asked me how my credit was. I said it was very good. Greg stood up, said he'd be back with the keys. Went to go look at the car, a new 2020 Camry SE, MSRP $27,897. Greg gave an expert walk-around presentation. I declined the test drive. Back inside the showroom, we sat down to talk turkey. Greg asked me if I'd shopped around. I said I hadn't, but I appreciated Bev Smith's reputation, and I had recommendations from friends to go there. He wanted to know if I was taking it home that day. They all asked that. I said yes, but I'd need to head home first and then come back around 5 o'clock. Greg asked why I needed to leave. They don't like it when you leave. I said it was personal and asked if there was a problem. I said I had some personal things to do, but if you could get me the numbers now, I could rush home and I'd come back within the hour. Greg said he needed to check with his boss and left. A few minutes later, returned with the sales manager. The manager said, and I'm paraphrasing, hi, Mr. We'll call it a blank. Don't want to give my real name. Greg has filled me in on your needs and time constraints today, and I was hoping we can do a good job. We could earn your business. I want to show what we can do for you and what we can, if any way we can earn your business today. They want to always sell the car now. Don't want you to go home and think about it. Don't want it your competitive shop. When you have time to think about it, the glow wears off. They want to do the deal immediately. I repeated what I had told Craig about coming in about an hour. The manager sat down, put a worksheet on the desk. He said he has scenarios for $2,000, $4,000, and $6,000 down payment for terms of 72, 75, and 84 months. He said that although I did not qualify with a 0%, I would still be given a good interest rate. Then we looked at the price breakdown. He said the market value price was $29,892. There we go. Market value price. Not sticker, not MSRP. You know what the MSRP was? $27,897. Okay, so they jumped up the price with the Bev Smith list, what he calls market list. To help me, he was giving me a $1,500 discount. I mean, he actually sounded like he was doing me a favor. Then he added $989. That was actually, I think it was $998, wasn't it? And 50 cents delivery service fee. Then a $512.40 for the tag fee and sales tax. Out the door, my total price came to $31,672.62. The manager began to pressure me to take delivery right then again. I said I needed to go, but I promised to come back. He offered to take another $500 off. $500. If I did it then. I refused. He continued to push, very aggressive. I mean, we haven't seen this kind of aggression in a long time. It was annoying and made me feel uncomfortable. I asked the manager if he was questioning my honesty by me saying I'm coming back. He said he wasn't, then asked me to give him a deposit. I mean, a real bulldog. Give me a deposit to hold the price. I declined, and he finally relented. The manager left. Greg apologized, I guess for the manager, asking me to commit at a time to return. I laughed and thanked him, and I left. Wow. I mean, talk about emotional exhaustion after being pushed through that. It's pretty bad. We knew what the catch was before we came in, but the treatment that Agent Thunder received was very troublesome. Greg only revealed the qualification for the 0% after spending half an hour at least of discussion before he told me the truth about the advertisement. What a waste of my time. And he could have revealed this earlier, but I'm sure he was instructed not to do so.
Yeah, Agent Thunder told him, hello, I'm here for the 84%.
Yeah.
He should have said, are you a medical responder?
He wanted me to invest my time and I suppose build some inertia where I was just too tired to fight. Yeah. He didn't want to tell me right away. The market value price, by the way, was almost $2,000 over the actual sticker MSRP. They were gracious enough to give a $1,500 discount after they raised the price $2,000.
That was a sarcastic gracious, by the way.
Yeah, but then they added $989.50, and the $512 tag fee was also inflated. Yeah. The effective sale price, which includes the dealer fee, was about $1,400 over MSRP.
Yep.
I mean, it's bad enough to lie to me to get me to come in. If they'd given me a good deal, higher than the lie, it could be somewhat understandable, but to lie to get me in and then try to lay me away with a price over sticker price, that's unconscionable. Agent Thunder's out-the-door price was $31,617. A good deal for that car would be an out-the-door price of about $25,000. So he's selling me a car for $6,000 higher than what would be considered a fair, good price. Mm-hmm. If Agent Thunder actually bought that car, Bev Smith Toyota would have made a profit of, ready for this? John from Palm City, you better sit down for this. Bev Smith Toyota would have made $7,200 on this car. And believe me, folks, Toyota dealers don't make that kind of money when they sell a Camry. Nope. They're lucky if they make $1,000 or $500. $7,000 $200 profit, $7,200 profit on that car. And this is before any F&I profit, which is where they make most of their money. You figure another $2,000 or $3,000 in the F&I. You'd be pushing $10,000 profit on this sale if someone had fallen for this sort of thing. So there we are.
Shame.
Probably one of the worst I've seen in a long time, shopping reports. We got the votes coming in, I hope.
Yeah.
We'd like to go around the table here, and Rick, you want to start with any votes?
I'm going with the flat F. Yeah. Unfortunately, YouTube again, we are just dropping up and down like a yo-yo.
Apologies to you.
We're working on it,
out
folks.
there. This bandwidth thing has been a problem. Stu, what about text votes.
Well, we'll start off with Linda on Facebook, who gives them a huge, big, fat F. And then we have Lee with an F, Georgia with an F, Melanie with an F, Linda with a huge F. And I am concurring F.
Yeah, it's...
School's out, but I'm giving them an F.
Yeah. Nancy, a.k.a. the Black Widow?
Yeah. What did I say to you this morning when we were on our way to
I said you can't
show?
say that on the air because about Bev
Okay,
Smith.
that was the first thing. And what did I ask you for after I finished reading the mystery shopper?
A barf bag.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
You know, sometimes you just wish that you could do what you really wanted to do. And this afternoon, I would love to take a ride to Fort Pierce.
Yeah.
Alone.
By the way, Amory texted, and she just wants to know what's lower than an F. I think that's expulsion.
Exactly. Thank you,
I like
Mary.
that. Expulsion, that's good.
And
You're expelled, Bev Smith Toyota.
And whenever I arrive at Bev Smith Toyota in Fort Pierce, I think that whenever I was finished, they would need a medical field. And, I'd do them more damage than $7,200.
That's what Agent Thunder should have told him. You're going to need a medical professional.
You're going to need a first responder.
Right.
Just absolutely, whenever you think that someone can't, just knock you over with a feather, here we are, Bev Smith Toyota.
Normally, I'm kind of antsy. I'm antsy about giving another Toyota dealer an F because people accuse us of being prejudiced because we're competitors. We're not actually competitors, by the way. Fort Pierce is so far north, they're not really part of our market. But even if they were part of our market, I just feel nervous about, I don't like to be perceived as being biased. I don't feel biased at all. This is an F.
Yeah.
I agree with Anne Marie. Best Smith Toyota should be expelled. It's just to take advantage of people's fear during this COVID-19 and also to insult the first responders. This is an offer meant for the brave men and women out there in the emergency rooms who are risking their lives and dying, by the way. And the Space Coast Credit Union was nice enough to give them a real special deal. To take that special deal, hide it in the fine print, to get suckers in so they can take advantage of them and make a $10,000 profit on a car is unconscionable. And I'm going to make an appeal on the air right now to Ashley Moody. Is that our AG's name?
Yeah,
Ashley Moody,
Ashley.
who has come after other car dealers, used car dealers. Ashley Moody, this is a new car dealer protected by auto manufacturers, protected by the Florida Automobile Dealers Association, a strong lobbying, who helped get you elected. I think that you should fine. I think you should cite them. I think you should expose what they've done. You're the Attorney General. You're the Chief Law Enforcement Officer in Florida. And if you don't go after Bev Smith Toyota, and we can send you the facts, we have them right now at our, you can go online and check it yourself. It's not just on television. This advertisement is online. Advertising 0% for 84 months, only available if you're a first responder by the Space Coast Credit Union, and telling the public out there that they qualify. If you don't cite them as Attorney General, you're derelict in your duty as the Attorney General of the state of Florida.
Well said. Ladies and gentlemen, we have about 2 minutes left. And, I found a driver for me. You don't have to take me up to Fort Pierce. Giuseppe, my grandfather's going with me. He carries tools. Okie dokie.
That's terrifying.
We thank you all for joining us. What a great show. We want to ask you to join us again next week right here, Earl Stewart on Cars, same time. And have a wonderful weekend and stay safe.